So today is July 19th, 2025, and it happens to be Michael's birthday. Michael, would you share with your fan club how old you are and how this birthday was for you?
Oh, it was very nice. Not anything extraordinary, but yeah, I'm 83.
Wow,
Yeah.
you must have accumulated a wealth of knowledge in those 83 years.
Oh, I'm sure I have. I'm not exactly sure what it is, though.
Well, I'm sure you have something to share.
Well, one thing this spring that occurred to me on my lima beans, they put out runners, as you know, a lot of runners on them. And you have
Well,
to
some people might not know what runners are.
Well, when the beans grow, they put out these strings that are called runners, and they wrap around whatever they can to get up higher off of the ground. And for pole lima beans, you usually have poles for them to climb on, or now I have posts in the ground and run wire between the posts, at least two wires, one at the bottom, one at the top, and then I take binder twine and I go up and down with the binder twine, and that gives the runners something to crawl on or to
Okay,
climb on.
so you were mentioning that these runners gave you some wisdom.
Well, in a way, my uncle, Uncle Kogel, always used to say, "Oh, you always have to train the runners counterclockwise." Oh, he said that so many times, always saying counterclockwise. And somehow this spring, it occurred to me, if I was on the other side of the the wires where the beans where the string goes up and down, then I would be wrapping it. I'd be wrapping it clockwise, and it's taken me a whole lifetime to realize that if I do it counterclockwise on one side, if I go to the other side, then it's clockwise. So it really doesn't make any difference.
So that's the biggest piece of wisdom that you have to share from your 83 years.
Well, there probably is something else, but it sort of astounded me because I just took his word for it that you needed to do it counterclockwise, and here it really doesn't matter.
Uncle Kogel doesn't have all the wisdom, or didn't.
Well, not on that, I guess. I mean, I wish that I'd been able to point that out to him, but I wasn't thinking about it then.
Well, surely there are some other things that you have thought about that your fan club might like to hear.
Oh, wow. Goodness. Oh, give me some examples.
Well, let's think about the street or the area where you grew up and all of those people uh, who were in your neighborhood. Maybe starting
Well,
with that.
one thing I do, I have gotten so I tell people, I say, I've gone 4 miles, meaning 4 miles in my life, 4 miles from where I started out to where I live now. And your mother and I have lived right here as of July the 1st of this year, 51 years in the same place, same house. Except when we built the house, it was just a two-story house with 3 bedrooms, and then 15 or 18 years later we added on, as you know. So it's a larger house now.
Okay, so there aren't really anything other than that to share about your neighborhood growing up then
Oh,
that is
oh well.
that you've carried with you these 4 miles.
Oh, well, lots of memories. But, and of course, I think about a lot of the people that I knew when I was growing up, like Mr. and Mrs. Slaughter. They were really kind of almost like grandparents to me. I went to their house every day. Sometimes I'd probably go there twice a day, and they probably got tired of me, but they were always good to me.
What was their phone number?
They did not have a telephone.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Did they have a car?
Oh, yes, they had a car.
What was their license plate number?
Well, the last car they had was the 32291
Oh.
was the tag number.
Oh.
A
That was
53 Chevrolet.
wow. What color was it?
Gray, two-door gray. The car they had before that was a 48 '48 or '49 Chevy that was black, and I remember it had slip covers, and Mrs. Slaughter said, "We never had the slip covers off on that car," and I said, "We're not going to get slip covers this time." So,
Wow.
How about how did you discover that you did not like teaching?
Oh, well, yeah, my first job out of college was teaching at Harrington School. I enjoyed having the summers off. It was not that I disliked teaching, but I don't know. It was not something that I was really big about. One of the funniest things, though, from teaching was when I had this girl named Joy Anderson. She was a slow learner, I suppose you'd say. And I had English and social studies, and so this was a social studies class. And in the book, we had read about the CIA. So I wrote the letter CIA in big capital letters up on the blackboard, and the next day after we'd read about it, and I said, "Now you all had to read about the CIA, or we read about it yesterday in the textbook. Now what do those letters stand for?" Well, Joy just could not contain herself. Mr. Rich, and so finally I called on Joy and I said, "Yes, Joy, what do those letters stand for?" "Crime in America." So
That might be what it means now.
it might be.
At least you got the letters.
Yeah,
right.
she got the letters
Yes,
right.
she did.
That was smart.
Yeah.
For her, that was smart.
So
For Joy.
Mm.
yeah.
So what did you not like about teaching?
Well,
Preparation.
preparation.
Preparation?
Yeah, and having to
Right.
do grades and all that stuff.
Writing the tests.
Yeah.
Basically all the work of being a teacher.
Well,
Well, did you like standing in front of the class and telling stories?
sometimes, yeah.
What
And
was
would write on the blackboard. Oh, I remember this one boy, Lester Cleaves, was it was the first year I had all 10th graders, and then the next year I had mostly 8th graders. And Lester, there was a drive-in movies called the Felton Drive-In, and they used to show X-rated movies, and he was running the projector at this place at the movies, and here he was in the 8th grade.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old was he?
Well,
grade.
I don't know,
Was he
13?
16?
No,
13?
something like that.
Wow.
Some 8th
But-
graders are
but-
16.
He talked about Rasputin. That was a movie they had one time with.
And it was an X-rated movie?
Well, I don't know if Rasputin, it could have been, but
He could have been, yes.
he talked about the blood and guts that were shown in the movie or something about Rasputin.
That doesn't sound like an X-rated movie, but
No, I
I don't
just-
know. Maybe it is.
I don't know.
Or at least.
Yeah, but anyhow, that. Yeah, so
It's funny the things that you remember.
well, I remember also, I don't know whether it was in that same class or not, but there was a girl named Margaret, and she was absent one day. So this is 8th grade, and I asked somebody, I said, "Well, where's Margaret today?" And they said, "Oh, her baby was sick." And I thought, I did not hear that right. I said, "What did you say?" "Her baby is sick." And I, gosh sakes, she's 8th grade. So later in the day, I went down to the office and I asked about that. And they said, "Oh, yeah, she had this baby last year when she was in the 7th grade." So later in the year, when I knew Margaret better, I said, "Margaret, what did your mother say about you having that baby when you were in the 7th grade?" She says, "Mom says the first one's a mistake, but the second one ain't."
Wow.
So,
Wonder when she had the second one.
oh, I have no idea. Yeah.
So after you taught for 2 years, then
Then I went to work at the archives. Went to the archives in Dover.
Okay, was that a step up from teaching?
2 or 3.
Yeah.
2 or 3 steps up?
Yeah. cousin Ruth Emmert had said to me one time, she said, you would like working at the archives. And I didn't even really know what the archives was at that point. And so then she might have said something to Mr. de Vallinger, who was the state archivist. But anyway, I went to see him probably 3 or 4 months before the end of the school year, and mother went with me because we were married then. And so he said that that the state of Delaware was going from the commission form of government to the cabinet form of government as of July 1st that year. That would have been July the 1st, 68. But up until the end of June of that year, 68, he could hire me. But after the commission form of government went into effect, he would not be able to hire me. He'd have to go through a what do you call it? Some kind of personnel, I guess. So anyhow, I got the job. I started like school ended June 13th or something, and I went there the next day. But Mother and I had already made plans to go to Europe for 2 months, and I told him that. So I worked like 2.5 weeks, and then the 1st of July, Mother and I went to Europe for 2 months. We had made plans and bought a Volkswagen through AAA, and we went to the factory in Germany and picked it up. And we went about 6,500 miles in Europe. And then it was shipped home. And then I came back and went back to work at the archives right after Labor Day that year. And I stayed there for 10 years.
How nice. That Europe trip must have been something.
Oh, it was wonderful. Yeah. We started, well, we flew on an NEA flight, National Education Association flight, from New York to Amsterdam. And we stayed in Amsterdam a couple of days, and then we took a train and went to Wolfsburg in Germany, which was very close to the east-west border at that time.
That's where the factory is.
That's where the Volkswagen factory was, in Wolfsburg. And so we had a tour through that, and they had our Volkswagen Bug ready. And so we went through Germany, down along the Rhine, and we went into Austria, and up at Trieste, where Austria and Italy come together, where Trieste is, and then we were in 3 countries in about a half an hour, and then Yugoslavia.
And there was one.
Yeah, and went down to Greece, and then we went, took a ferry across 18 hours to go across the Adriatic to Italy, and went through quite a bit of Italy, and then up into Switzerland and visited the Kellers that I had met before when I was there in '66.
You ought to tell them about the trip across to Brindisi.
Oh, yeah.
When you got seasick.
On this ship, that it was a very large ship, and I mean it held something like 300 cars, but we sat in what they called airplane seats up near the bow of the boat, and they would recline. But anyway, we left at 9 o'clock at night, and about midnight the ship started pitching up and down, and yeah, I got seasick.
Did you puke over the side of the boat?
No, I felt myself getting sick, so I made a beeline to the men's room, and it was the biggest men's room I've ever seen in my life. It was huge, and I was the only person in there, and I thought, well, this is crazy. If I'm the only person sick, well, in 5 minutes it filled up, the whole place.
Wow.
And so
well, here's where this video is getting a little bit long, so we can do another one at another time. But
Okay.
to wrap things up, you do have a very interesting T-shirt on. It's called the Octagonal Schoolhouse, Kogel's Corner, DE,
Delaware.
1836. Can you tell us about the
Yeah, it was one of the first free public schools in the state of Delaware, and it was built of stone. There's no native stone here, so may have been ballast in a ship. You know, it's not far from the Delaware Bay, and I guess it was considered an innovative way to build a schoolhouse at the time, because the chimney was in the center. The chimney did not come all the way down to the ground, but there was a stove in the middle of the room, and the stovepipe went up to the chimney, and then there was a desk that were against the wall
For the boys.
for the boys, I guess, and then another row of desks around the inner circle around the stove, so to speak, and that was for the girls. And the blackboard, there was not really a blackboard or a slate, but they painted the plaster black on one of the walls, one of the 8 walls, and so that was like the blackboard. And it was used as a public school from 1836, almost 100 years, to 1933, I think.
Wow, that's
And the
a
building
long
is
time.
still there, and I think you can get tours if you make arrangements.
Could anybody go to school there?
Well, it was to serve the children in that area.
White.
Where is that area? And it was only white
Well,
children.
it's between Little Creek and Lipsick on Route 9.
Only white children?
Well, Delaware had 2 separate school systems for years and years until desegregation in the 50s and 60s. So the black people had their own schools, and it was considered, they called it separate but equal, but it really wasn't
It
equal.
was not
Mm.
equal at all.
No.
Well, this.
Your father was the guide several weekends.
Oh, you were the guide.
Yeah,
at
when
this
I worked
school.
at
He
the
was on duty
archives,
there.
this building came under the archives, and I would go about every 3rd weekend, Saturday afternoons and Sunday afternoons, I'd be a guide out there.
Well, that must have been a fun job for you.
Yeah, it was fun, interesting, yeah.
Well, this has been quite educational. Thank you very much. It was great to learn about the wisdom that you have accumulated in these 83 years. That's quite a bit of wisdom.
It is.
Uh,
Yes.
well,
All right.
thank you for saying so.